All right, Simon Head for MMA Junkie. And joining me right now from the Netherlands is former Bellator middleweight champion, Gegard Mousasi. Gegard, first off, how are things where you are? It looks like it's a beautiful day where you are right now.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm at the park. I just ate some hamburgers because there's not much to do than eating nowadays.
Awesome. I was about to say, how are you staying in shape? But I mean, I guess if the burgers are in play, then you've taken your foot off the gas a little bit right now. Is that fair? Fair comment?
Yeah, I'm not in shape. I'm 220 now. Uh, I gained 10 pounds probably during this Corona time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm home a lot, so I eat a lot. I keep myself busy.
How are you keeping yourself busy? Because obviously, getting to train is a bit tricky. Have you got a home gym you can work out in, or are you just sort of kicking back and doing other stuff right now?
Well, I haven't trained since the lockdown. I'm gonna start training from now. Actually, I'm gonna train today. I have my own gym, so I can train whenever I want. But when you don't have a fight, there's not a lot of motivation. So, but I'm gonna start getting busy. I hope July. I heard something July. Maybe they're gonna restart with the shows.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bellator announced they've basically put all their events on hold up until and including the Chicago show on June 6th. So that sort of fits in with the timeline you just
Yeah.
mentioned there. And obviously, it was the Douglas Leeman fight that everybody was really looking forward to at Bellator 242, which would only have been a couple of weeks from now. I know how keen you are to get that middleweight belt back. How frustrating was it to be in the middle of a fight camp, probably when you realised that that fight wasn't going to happen?
Well, I was actually in the beginnings. I feel like I'm still lucky. I didn't go through a whole training camp, and then that got canceled the last week or something. So I was in the start of the training camp. You know, of course it's frustrating because I really wanted that fight. I wanted to win the belt, but this is something that everyone has to deal with it. So no, not frustrations, but eager to start to fight again.
Yeah, and is that still the fight that's going to be on the table when everything gets back up and running? It's going to be that fight with Douglas Lima for the belt,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah, 100%. I heard something that this fight is also going to be on CBS. So Bellator is doing big things. So I'm happy to be part of that.
Good stuff. And obviously, when people get this much time off, and there isn't that much opportunity to do too much career-wise, has it given you a chance to sort of sit down and take stock? I mean, 55 career fights under your belt. You've fought all over the world for all the biggest promotions in the world and won loads of titles. What's left on your to-do list? Are there specific goals that you've set yourself that you're going to really be focusing on once you get back up and running again?
Well, three things I want to do. One is to fight in my own country, Holland, fight for own crowd. One second, not the first, but it's not a. I say second, maybe Douglas Lima. I beat him. I get the title, and then Ryan Bader, light heavyweight. That's the things that I still want to do, and so if I can achieve those three things, those are still things that I want to get done.
Yeah, I know the Bellator European team we're taking a close look at options for going over to your homeland in the Netherlands and fighting. Is that something that has already been discussed with you? Potentially a fight in Amsterdam or maybe Rotterdam?
Yeah, they were working on it. Actually, they were very close to it. I was hearing April they could have had a show here, but the city of Amsterdam is a little bit difficult with permit for big organizations. But Bellator being a big organization, and they're almost getting the deal done because usually they don't allow it with kickboxing because kickboxing has a bad name here. So, but Bellator is close to getting the deal done.
That's encouraging. Hopefully, we get to see that a little bit further down the line once everything gets up and running again. One thing I wanted to ask you about was Japan. Is that something that interests you? They've done some crossover events, some co-promoted events with Rising in the past. Obviously, you've got a bit further back in your career. When you fought over in Asia, is that something that sort of piques your interest? Going back over there and maybe fighting in front of the Japanese fans again?
Yeah, I always, those are things that I have in my mind. Maybe New Year Eve show. I wanted to keep busy. I wanted to fight 3 times this year, so I was thinking 2 times in US or one time in Europe, and then once in Japan on New Year's Eve show, maybe for a belt or whatever. So um, I had those thoughts, but yeah, now everything is on hold, so I just have to wait. But definitely wanted to keep busy and do the things that I wanted to do. Fight for the belt, light heavyweight in Holland, in Japan. They were all in my plans actually.
And the Bellator middleweight division, obviously, you want to get that belt back. How do you rate that division right now in terms of who's on the way up? And we haven't had a middleweight tournament in Bellator, so is that
Yeah.
something that potentially they've floated with you for maybe 2021?
Yeah, there was also one, another one like middleweight. There's some good fighters at middleweight now. You can definitely have a tournament. You have some recognizable names. Unfortunately, Lovato fell off, but that's something that the Bellator or Scott was thinking about. So that's also a possibility. Maybe in 2 years, something like that. Maybe next year, not maybe the year after. So a lot of options, a lot of things to do. So I don't feel like I'm done, but I'm not getting younger either. So I was keen to fight 3 times this year. I really also wanted to fight next time 3 times in the next, and then to see and go from there. So that was my plan for the next 2 years. But unfortunately, everything is on hold now.
Yeah, I mean, something I was going to ask you, having been active in this sport for as long as you have, and having had as many fights as you have, um, other than actually winning new belts and taking on new challenges, what is it that motivates you to keep going, having done so much already in your career? And are you still evolving and developing and picking up new skills as you go along?
Well, you're not gonna see me do German suplex. I mean, even if I get that technique down as good as possible, but to do it in a fight is gonna take years, and then to get that thing. So I rather sharpen my tools that I have, than try to learn something that's maybe not gonna use ever in the fight. So yeah, those things. But you're still learning. You're never done with learning, and then also fighting. I don't have anything else to do now. I'm on the sideline for a long time. It's not like I have a job next to it, so that's all I know what I can do. So I'm not gonna be a doctor suddenly. So if I don't do this, I'm bored. So there's a love and hate relationship with fighting. I hate
Absolutely.
it when I do it, and when I don't do it, I miss it. Not a lot, but sometimes I miss it.
And I think the last time I spoke to you, you were even toying with the idea of maybe dropping down to
Yeah.
170 to take on Douglas at 70. Now he's coming up to 85. Is that now something you're not too worried about, or is that still something that appeals to you, especially if you were eventually to go up and maybe get a second title there, maybe becoming a 3 division Bellator champion? Is that
Yeah, that,
feasible for you?
yeah, that was like a dream of mine. I was thinking, okay, maybe 3 belts. You always want to dream, but I cannot make 170. I could make it, but I don't know how I would perform. So it's I rather not do it. But I really wanted that idea. I look better chubby.